The Council therefore recommend the need to withdraw the bill.
National Economic Council recommends withdrawal of tax reform bills.
Expectation is that some of the startups that are being supported will be building tools that small businesses will benefit from.
Google bets big on Nigeria with planned 2.8 billion naira investment in AI and robotics.
Our goal is to raise awareness of these issues within Nigeria.
Adequate and equitable housing is not just a right. It must become a reality for all.
Also tonight, we focus on the commemoration of the 2024 World Habitat Day and World City Day, the issues, the challenges, and the imperatives for national development. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Michael Olale will be joining us tonight from the city of Lagos, and Benny Adams is the one on business news. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast on all our websites, on our social media handles displayed on your screen. We begin with President Bola Tinubu expressing optimism on the long-standing cordial relations that Nigeria has maintained over many years with the Republic of France, the People's Republic of China, and the Kingdom of Denmark, hoping it will continue to translate to mutual economic benefits for citizens, particularly in key areas of education, health, and infrastructure. The president gave an assurance of Nigeria's economic diplomacy at a ceremony to receive letters of credence from new envoys from the three countries. State House correspondent Musbau Dan Wahab tells us more.
Nigeria-China relations of more than 50 years recently got a new impetus. The recent summit of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, offered another platform for President Bola Tinubu and his Chinese counterpart to strengthen the ties and grow the relations. From just comprehensive partnerships, both countries have now stepped up to strategic comprehensive partnership. President Tinubu demonstrated his commitment by appointing a Director General and Global Liaison to coordinate the partnership. Zhu Dunhai is the new envoy from the People's Republic of China. His role would be significant at the new level. President Tinubu urged the new envoy to work hard with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to translate the agreements signed into reality. He particularly looks forward to the activation of all the agreements signed, especially on trade and economic progress for both countries. The president said Nigeria will continue to leverage and build on the Chinese experience, especially in trade and infrastructure developments. Dunhai pointed out that he has already started programs with some states on improving yields for rice and yam, a mobile medical outreach to the less privileged, and educational exchange programs that will enhance vocational and technical skills in the country.
Already we're doing a lot with them with the Belt and Road Initiative and the Forum for China-Africa Cooperation. You can see the infrastructure that is being built by Chinese companies, funding from China. So it's something that's very important, not just to Nigeria, but to Africa, because of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
President Tinubu also received Marc Fombostier as the new French ambassador to Nigeria. He told the new envoy that his friendship with President Emmanuel Macron and the diplomatic ties between both countries should be felt by citizens, urging support for the ongoing reforms in the country, which seeks to strengthen institutions and improve livelihood of citizens. President Tinubu welcomed the ambassador of Denmark as he acknowledged the country's commitment to the promotion of democratic values and human rights. He expressed Nigeria's willingness to benefit from the Denmark's achievements in energy, education, Medicare, and other areas that directly impact the livelihood of the people.
And broadly speaking, Mr. President has asked them to delve more. He asked the ambassador to do more in terms of strengthening trade and investment and the relationship between Nigeria and Denmark.
The Danish ambassador revealed that his country has developed a strategy to improve relations with Africa, in which Nigeria will play a central role in the implementation, considering its size and influence on the continent. From the State House, Musbau and Wahab, NT News.
Still with the presidency, the National Economic Council has recommended the withdrawal of the 4 tax reform bills sent to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu for wider consultations and understanding. The council also directed the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to conduct integrity review of waterways and dams across the country to avert recurrence of flooding, which affected 34 states this year. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has more on these and other issues deliberated upon at the meeting.
It's the 145th National Economic Council meeting and the 7th in the year 2024, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima. First, Council received presentation from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, acknowledging the performance in major revenue sources, noting sufficient alignment to withdraw the bill from the National Assembly.
So Council therefore recommend the need to withdraw the bill currently before the National Assembly on tax reforms, so that we can have wider consultations and also build consensus around these reforms for the benefit of the entire country, and also to give our people for them to know the vision and where we are moving the country in terms of tax reform.
There was also presentation from the Flood Response and Mitigation Committee, with 34 states affected, 217 local government areas, and more than 1 million persons displaced. Council deliberated and directed the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to conduct integrity review of waterways and dams.
Council noted that the Green Climate Fund should have an infrastructure resilience fund component as a major part of this fund. And then also it was observed that there are some critical parts of the country that are very massively ravaged by this flooding, particularly southeast, south, that are completely omitted in the ongoing programs of construction of dams.
Council also received progress report of improvement in difficulties on the reforms being experienced in the economic sector, with the introduction of many programs aimed at addressing these challenges.
In the last 5 days, I should say, 11,000 beneficiaries have received 3.5 billion naira. So that's an ongoing rollout of consumer credit to help people to make things more affordable to the worker. Of course, the student loan scheme has reached over 500,000 students, and it has disbursed over 90 billion naira. And that is to the students for their fees, to the institutions for the students' fees directly, and then to the students for their upkeep. So, and it's interest-free loan. So that, of course, is providing access to higher education to so many who otherwise would not afford it.
Program and presentation on internally displaced persons for the implementation of a World Bank support on investment for affected persons and host communities for a sustainable livelihoods reviewed.
So the objective of the program is to improve access to basic services and economic opportunities for the internally displaced persons and host communities in affected local governments in Nigeria.
The council also announced the state of the federation accounts.
$473,754.57. The natural resources account, 26,105,837,627 naira 67 kobo. Stabilization account, 36,299,452,763 naira 32 kobo. Observations were also made on the positive contributions of TED Fund to the growth and development of education in Nigeria. Furthermore, observations were also made on the rationale behind the establishment of NASENI, that is the mandate of NASENI, which is to encourage production of local goods and services, thereby reducing dependency on hydrocarbons in Nigeria.
Council commended the efforts of the federal government on the Students' Loan Scheme and Tertiary Education Trust Fund, calling for a review on the mandate of NASENI. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
In the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima has announced that the National Economic Council will adopt measures to speed up the decentralization of the national grid, with a view to putting an end to the incessant collapse that has plunged some states in the north into total darkness. Speaking at the 145th INEC meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Shettima, who is the chairman of the NEC, said the burden of accountability has compelled the government not to look away from these issues. He listed some of the measures to include the establishment of mini-grid solar and renewable energy sources like solar, photovoltaic and wind turbines. The Vice President stressed the urgent need for the implementation of the Nigeria Energy Sector Implementation Plan, emphasizing that the energy sector must embrace the potential of renewable energy as well as leverage solar and mini-grid solutions designed to meet regional electricity demands. He also said the tax reforms initiated by President Bola Tinubu will broaden the nation's revenue base, foster economic stability, and diminish dependency on specific sectors. On Human Capital Index, Vice President Kashim Shettima cautioned that it is a tragedy that must be confronted following Nigeria's low ranking. He further shed light on the progress made so far in the bid to mitigate flood disasters, noting that the past few months have tested the durability of the solutions implemented to advance flood resilience. In the meantime, the presidency says the proposed tax reform bills currently before the National Assembly will not increase the number of taxes presently in force. Rather, it will optimize and simplify existing tax frameworks. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onaniga, says the tax rates will remain the same as they focus on ensuring a more equitable distribution of tax applications without adding to the burden on Nigerians. The statement adds that the new tax bills will not absorb or eliminate the duties of any existing department, agency or ministry, but harmonize revenue collection and administration across the Federation to ensure efficiency and cooperation on the proposed derivation-based VAT distribution model, which the northern governors oppose. The presidency stresses that the new proposal as enunciated in the bill is designed to create a fairer system. The current model for distributing VAT is based on where the tax is remitted rather than where goods and services are supplied or consumed, which the ongoing tax reform seeks to correct. Now, Transmission Company of Nigeria has restored electricity supply to Damaturu and other parts of Yobe after about 10 days. Correspondent Mustafa Mohammed reports that the state capital came alight at about 8 o'clock this evening to the excitement of residents who chanted to express their happiness over the development. The lack of power supply occasioned by activities of vandals had affected socio-economic activities in Yobe State, as water scarcity was experienced just as other businesses. Similarly, residents of Kaduna, which is amongst the 7 states affected by power outage, also jumped in joy as the transmission power company, following a directive from the president to security agents to provide adequate security for their personnel to repair vandalized parts, succeeded. Correspondent Mohammed Umar Anjigi reports that already activities dependent on electricity are picking up. And to legislative matters now, presiding officers of the National Assembly are set to inaugurate a joint ad hoc committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry. In a motion adopted at plenary, the Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, explains that the decision for both chambers of the National Assembly to jointly investigate alleged sabotage in the sector becomes necessary, following the setting up of an ad hoc committee by the House of Representatives to investigate the same matter. Details will come your way after the break. Don't go away. Thanks for joining us, and to the earlier read report of the 2 chambers of the National Assembly set to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry. Now, for more details, let's join Lami Ali, our National Assembly correspondent.
They have undermined the investor confidence, distorted market operations, and exacerbated our economic challenges.
Senate had in July this year commenced a solo investigation into alleged economic sabotage in the petroleum industry. Few weeks after, the Green Chamber launched an inquiry on similar matter. Today at Senate's plenary, the Senate leader said the 2 chambers are now to jointly conduct the investigation.
There is need for the ad hoc committees of the 2 chambers to work jointly to avoid duplication and clash in the discharge of their assignment.
Senate has passed the bill to establish Federal University of Agriculture and Development, Iragweji, in Osun State.
To encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race.
Agriculture accounts for about 70% of our employment and 30% of our GDP.
Pray that through this university, Nigeria will be able to produce what it consumes and consume what it produces.
2 establishment bills passed second reading.
The need to upgrade that school to a University of Technology in Asaba is very important.
The bill seeks to provide for the establishment of the Chartered Institute of Petroleum and Gas Engineers of Nigeria too.
Plenary featured the first reading of 6 bills, among them the Public Health Emergency Bill. Senate has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, 19th November 2024, to enable oversight by standing committees. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And at the House of Representatives, a bill seeking mandatory inclusion of portfolios in the nomination list of ministers and commissioners by the president or state governors has passed second reading. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikpen reports that a bill proposing to extend the retirement age of health workers also scaled second reading at today's plenary.
The bill proposing that the president and state governors should attach portfolios when nominating ministers and commissioners received the support of lawmakers and consequent referral to the Committee on Constitution Review.
Before a nomination is being sent to the National Assembly, it must be accompanied with portfolio.
A situation where ministers are presented to you, you don't even know the portfolio, and the qualification of the person, you are bound to start asking general questions.
I can still come on.
It was some heated debate before the second reading of the bill seeking extension of the retirement age of health workers.
Extend their service years from 60 to 65 years and 35 to 40 years.
It is proper to retire when you can go home and farm and do some other things.
The people that are living for Japa or whatever you call it, they are young men. People that are beyond the ages of 50, 60, they are ready to stay and sacrifice for this country.
Getting to the age of 60 and you want another age of 5 to be added, even injection syringe the person is going to handle, you see the hand will start shaking.
The eyes have it. To secure our health space, we need to have the experienced doctors in our midst, helping us.
The House resolved to probe erratic e-customs services and attendant revenue losses, among other resolutions.
Mandate the Committee on Custom and Excise to investigate the concession of the Nigerian Customs Service modernization project and examine the frequent network disruption currently impacting the e-customs service delivery.
Urge the Federal Minister of Finance, Budget Office of the Federation to increase the capital budget allocation to the Nigeria Correction Service to 30 billion in 2025 budget estimate.
For the past 6 days, an unprecedented 18-kilometer gridlock between Lambata and Suleja has crippled the flow of traffic on Suleja-Lambata-Bida Highway in Niger State. Direct the Ministry of Works to conduct an emergency assessment of the condition of the road.
4 bills were passed at Thursday's plenary, including the bill seeking establishment of the National Metallurgical Training Institute, ONISHA. The House has adjourned plenary to 12th of November 2024 to enable committees carry out oversight to ministries, departments, and agencies of government. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news making the rounds as the Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gaidam, has reminded security agencies that by exchanging insights and expertise, law enforcement agencies can collectively analyze emerging risks, identify systematic vulnerabilities, and formulate comprehensive strategies to mitigate the potential threats. This was at the 3-day workshop on West African Information System in Nigeria, and that will come in our subsequent bulletin. Now, stakeholders in the housing sector gathered in Abuja to mark the 2024 World Habitat and Cities Day, as UN urges nations to empower youth and involve them in urban decision-making for developing inclusive and resilient cities. Francis Udojo reports that UN Habitat representative, including the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dengiwa, graced the occasion.
World Habitat Day was designated in 1985 by the United Nations to be marked on every first Monday of October every year. The idea is to reflect on the state of towns and cities and the basic right of all to adequate shelter. Such is with the World Cities Day, marked also in October, with both events referred to by the UN as Urban October. This year's World Habitat Day is under the theme Engaging Youth to Create a Better Urban Future, while that of the World Cities Day is themed as Youth Leading Climate and Local Action for Cities. The Urban October, therefore, is aimed at addressing the challenges and opportunities of rapid urbanization by focusing on the active involvement of young people in shaping sustainable cities and communities, while trying to also proffer solutions to climate change and its effect.
Adequate and equitable housing is not just a right. It must become a reality for all.
This informed the gathering of housing stakeholders in Abuja to mark the day, and youth engagements could help shape the housing sector in achieving the Global Urban Shelter Plan in Nigeria.
We take pride in joining the international community to tackle the multifaceted challenges of urbanization. Our goal is to raise awareness of these issues within Nigeria and promote collaborative action across all levels, from the local communities to the international stage.
On World Habitat Day this year, we reaffirm the
firm basic right of shelter and reflect on the transformation of human environments.
Hence, the 2024 World Habitat and Cities Days presents a unique opportunity to celebrate the contributions of youth to sustainable urbanization while addressing the challenges of rapid urban growth. In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NT News.
And as we explore the challenges, opportunities in creating sustainable, inclusive and resilient cities in Nigeria, we are mindful of public expectations, yet reminded of government's commitments in meeting target goals in the sector. Now let's appraise some of the government strategies and initiatives towards addressing some of the pressing concerns. And to talk about that, we're being joined by the Director, Urban and Regional Planning, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Akinola Olakunde. You're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thanks for having me.
Now let's draw from one of the key themes of the Urban October, which is affordable housing in Nigeria. And we know the housing deficit is currently estimated to be over 28 million units. And would you say that some of these measures being taken by the federal government holds promises of gains, whether in the short or long term, in closing the existing gaps and housing deficit in Nigeria? Let's hear.
Thank you. The measures being taken by the federal government definitely will improve the housing situation in the country. The Renew Hope Estates and Cities of the federal government is built to produce more houses for the citizenry of the country. And this is not only done by government. Government is in partnership with private developers that are building houses to improve the housing deficit of the country. So this effort will definitely reduce the deficit we have in housing position of the country.
Yeah, you discussed the public-private partnership, and now today most of our cities face challenges in infrastructure, sanitation, and transportation. Has your ministry, concluded on a workable plan to revamp urban planning, incorporating innovative solutions and community engagement here?
Yeah, the ministry is putting up measures to ensure sustainable development of our urban centers. In fact, the ministry is taking bold initiatives in this direction. The ministry is preparing the National Fiscal Development Plan, which is the blueprint that will guide the spatial development of the country, optimize the resources, and ensure that no region is left behind. Also, the ministry is preparing the Strategic Regional Development Plan for the different regions. Currently, 5 Strategic Regional Development Plans are ongoing for the country, and even the ministry is preparing a fiscal development plan for some medium-sized urban centers in the country. These are measures to inculcate the philosophy of planning, integrated planning, into the culture of the people, and for the subnationals and even the local governments to inculcate this so that our nation can be developed in an orderly and planned manner. So these are ways that ministry are trying to ensure that the country is sustainably developed.
Indeed, and the theme for this year is also talking about engaging youths in, urban building. Director, Urban and Regional Planning, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Akinola Olakunde. Thank you so much for your insights and government's commitment to addressing some of these pressing urban development challenges in Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Moving on, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says the administration of President Bola Tinubu will continue to do all it takes to improve the lives of ordinary Nigerians by implementing reforms and policies with sustainable impact. She gave this assurance in Ado Ekiti State during the distribution of assorted food items to vulnerable groups in the state under the Food Outreach Program of the Renewed Hope Initiative. Represented by the wife of Vice President Kashim Shettima, Hajiya Nana Shettima, the First Lady assured Nigerians that the various reforms and programs of the current administration have the potential to yield long-lasting effect. The First Lady also reiterated that RHI will sustain the monthly intervention which targets vulnerable groups under its social investment programs in order to promote government efforts at meeting the needs of the people. She implored beneficiaries not to divert the items to the market, but use them in their households, appreciating the First Lady's support to the state, especially interventions in agriculture, women empowerment and scholarship. Wife of Ekiti State Governor Olayemi Oyebanji also urged the beneficiaries to embrace farming, especially in their homes, so that they can provide food for their families and neighbors. Since its launch in the FCT in December 2023, the RHI Food Outreach Program has covered some states with noticeable impact on the lives of people with disabilities, women and youth. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has appealed to Nigerians to be patient as the reform policies and programs of the Tinubu administration are designed and are being implemented to lead Nigeria to prosperity. The minister assured Nigerians that the federal government's communication team will continue to engage the people through town hall meetings across the country. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara tells us more.
In view of the recent reforms, particularly the cabinet reshuffle, the federal government communication team, led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the end of a strategic engagement on critical national issues, roll out its plan to sustain the tempo in propagating activities of the government.
We're streamlining our strategy to inform Nigerians more about what we do. Of course, this is not the first time that this is happening. You know that we hold the periodic ministerial press briefings that we intend to continue with. We also want to continue with the town hall meetings that we have started. Very soon, the National Communications team will go to the southeastern part of the country to engage with Nigerians in town hall meetings so that we take to them, to their doorstep, the message of Mr. President and his government, and we also hear from them firsthand what their reaction and their observations are about policies and programs of government so that we bring it back to government. Some of these reform processes ought to have started maybe 2-3 decades ago, but the president has taken them, and like I said, we will deliver. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to deliver on all these promises.
On the recent power outage that affected parts of the country, the minister appealed to Nigerians to be more vigilant and provide useful information to security agencies in the fight against criminality.
By Sunday of this week, we will have power fully restored to all parts affected. And like the president has also told the security agencies to be extra vigilant, and they are going to work around the clock. It is not an acceptable situation. The president would not accept any criminal disrupting power transmission lines in this country.
The meeting had in attendance heads of agencies under the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Governor Maimala Buni of Yobe State has presented a proposed budget of more than 320.8 billion naira to the State House of Assembly for the 2025 fiscal year. Tagged the Budget of Economic Consolidation and Poverty Reduction, the state's 2025 appropriation bill aims to service both capital and recurrent expenditures, enabling the administration to execute additional developmental projects within the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
In the 2025 Finance and Appropriation Bills before the State House of Assembly, Governor Maimala Buni says the sum of 320.8 billion naira is proposed to finance both capital and recurrent expenditures. Specifically, he added 144.036 billion naira, representing 44.9%, is proposed as recurrent expenditure, while 176.7 billion naira, representing 55.1%, is allocated for capital expenditure. This, he says, is to enable his administration complete all ongoing projects and embark on new essential ones in the upcoming fiscal year.
Our watchwords will remain the observance of due process and transparency and adherence to budgetary provisions, blocking of leakages and providing the enabling environment to woo investors that will turn around the fortunes of the state.
We remain determined and committed to partnering with the executive and judiciary more than ever before. Pursuance of our mission to promote good governance through effective and efficient legislation with public engagement and to influence peace and order for overall development of the state.
While reviewing the performance of the outgoing year, the governor maintains that as of 30th September 2024, the budget performance stood at 76%. He cited unfavorable exchange rates and inflation as factors negatively impacting project execution, but expressed optimism that revenue and expenditure volumes are expected to rise before the year runs out. The 2025 Finance and Appropriation Bills have successfully passed first reading, with the state lawmakers assuring to expedite action for their timely passage into law. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Let's join Michael in our Lagos Network Center for their contribution on NTA Network News. Hello, Michael.
Good to see you, Jumai, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Nigerians must be patient and hopeful that the reforms embarked on by President Bola Tinubu's administration will yield positive results soon. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno stated this at the groundbreaking ceremony of Ibom Towers in Lagos. Joyken Abakuya reports that Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu was at the event.
It's a place where you come, live, work and play.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno, who says President Tinubu's achievements as Lagos State Governor speak to his good leadership qualities, urged Nigerians to trust the president as there's light at the end of the tunnel. The Ibom Towers construction, the governor says, is an investment that will grow the Akwa Ibom State economy and increase its revenue base.
We remain hopeful that the reforms our president is currently introducing to grow our country, painful as they may appear today, will bear fruit soon and reposition Nigeria just like he did with Lagos State as the largest economy in Africa. So I urge our people to follow patiently while we walk this path, because I see a great light.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is optimistic that the initiative, which shows the strength of Lagos and Akwa Ibom states in revenue generation, will encourage more businesses and investments.
This is what the governor is supposed to be. We're supposed to do peer review. We're supposed to look at where you have comparative advantage and utilize that comparative advantage to the benefit and to the betterment of your people.
The 18-story Ibom Towers construction is expected to be completed in 24 months. In Lagos, Joyken Abakuya, NTA News.
Having survived more than 70 years of excellence in the field of research, innovation and technology, the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, FIRU, does not just represent the ideal model for harnessing local capacity to solve the demand for jobs and wealth creation, but equally provides template for eliminating pressure on importation. The chairman of the TED Fund National Research Foundation Research Fair Committee for 2024, Umar Bindri, gave the impression in Lagos while an inspection tour facilities to the institute in readiness for this year's TED Fund Expo and exhibition, slated for November 17. Joe Popola reports.
Known as Nigeria's gateway to attaining the apex of industrialization globally through research, the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, FIRU, has evolved in the area of transforming virtually all agricultural produce into products.
Grassroots system.
This represents a good example in which the Institute said 10 different micronutrients-rich products have been formulated using mushroom alone. And in fact, the various innovations here fit perfectly into TED Fund's goal of using National Research Fair to create wealth across the various strata of the economy.
We've come to FIRU to see this, to encourage FIRU's management, led by their Director General, to bring all these products that are ready for Nigerians to absorb to the technology fair. At the technology fair, we believe that young people who are encouraged, who wants to be on their own, who wants to raise their hope, will come there and see the possibilities.
The mandate before the committee is to drive these innovations and others across the country to the point of commercialization. And the conviction is that FIRO has all it takes to attract funding.
All these products we've seen come out of FIRO, their ingenuity, if we can get 3, 4 out into the market, into the Nigerian market, we are good.
The Director General of FIRO, visibly proud of the various inventions and technologies of the Institute, called on Nigerians to be part of the change by enrolling.
People can come over and see what we are doing so that they can take up a certain product that they want to use and be producing it at their own time, and then so that they can get little money from it. We're up doing, and by the grace of God, we're going to meet up with the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President.
Both parties agreed that initiative of this nature by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund will boost the capacity of research institutions in Lagos. Joel Ukwola, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. Network News will continue after this break. Do stay.
You're welcome back. Now, politics driven by absolute patriotism and commitment to a greater and better Nigeria is what motivated the Abraham Okolo to write the book titled Towards a Better Nation and present it to the public. Deborah Bala Gbogbo reports.
A Better Nation is a 62-page book of 6 chapters, which is all about the political and economic emergencies that brought undeveloped ideas, undesirable orientation to Nigeria without considering any hope for the coming generations.
I hope that after this launching today, a lot of speakers that will be here will do justice to it, and I believe Nigeria will go towards that direction.
But this book will change a lot of things in our life. There is nothing like Northerner, Southerner. We are all the same under the umbrella of Nigeria.
Reviewer of the book, Professor Sam Egu, describes the book as touching on foundation of Nigeria's democracy in the First and Second Republic, issues of political ethnicity, politicization of identity, which are critical to understanding the past and present of Nigeria's democracy.
It is tempting, meaning that because of not being voluminous, even if you are sitting down behind and maybe in the dining, you would like to read 1, 2, 3 pages.
I think Nigeria should sit down and renegotiate a lot of things, because the way we are, there is complete inequity, and that is why it is difficult, and it is easy to manipulate. It is difficult to have things run on a straight line.
Let us be convinced that we agree on one thing, that we remain committed and patriotic. As for our pluses and minuses, we can sort that one out at some other forum.
Speakers say the future of the nation lies in absolute patriotism and commitment for a greater and better Nigeria. In Abuja, Deborah Bala Gbogbo, NTA News.
In a significant advancement for Nigeria's information and communication technology sector, Google says it is investing 2.8 billion naira in artificial intelligence and robotics. Chidinma Ndubisi reports that the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy describes the initiative as a transformative step for the nation's economic growth and development.
Artificial intelligence and robotics, machines trained to think and act like humans with enhanced proficiency, are revolutionizing various sectors. In Nigeria, the use of AI tools and services is leading to improved health outcomes, educational advancements, flood predictions, and enhanced safety measures. Local businesses are also recording increased sales and profit. In fact, use of Google tools and services, including AI-powered applications, led to a $1.8 billion economic growth last year. To further these advancements, Google is investing 2.8 billion naira to enhance the skills of Nigerians in artificial intelligence, aiming to develop indigenous AI solutions. This initiative will train 20,000 Nigerians as part of ongoing 3 million technical talents program, with an additional 25,000 teachers set to benefit from the funding project.
We're also going to work directly with 125,000 young people, young learners as well, and train them in the AI fundamentals, providing 10 promising Nigerian AI startups with 100 million naira in funding, alongside 3.5 million in Google cloud credits, as well as some mentorship from Google's own engineers.
The expectation is that some of the startups that are being supported will be building tools that small businesses will benefit from. So the program in its entirety, 75% of it is directly for young people.
Data Science and National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics are implementers of the program, scheduled to be delivered within 1 to 2 years. Google's investment of this nature is seen as a will that will set in motion the estimated $15 billion artificial intelligence contribution to the nation's economy by 2030. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now let's bring in Benny Adams to bring us more on business news. Hello, Benny.
Thank you, Jemai. And talking business, in its commitment to fostering a robust and comprehensive capital market education for Nigerian universities, the Securities and Exchange Commission has taken steps to better align the curriculum to include cyber security, artificial intelligence, and advanced crypto, among others, in line with current market trends. Director General of the SEC, Dr. Emomotimi Agama, stated this at the inauguration of a committee to review the curriculum already approved by the National Universities Commission on Securities and Investment Management for Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions, with Uche Walike, Professor of Capital Market Studies of Nasarawa State University, as the chairman. Dr. Agama said the initiative, which has been ongoing, remains a priority to the Commission as part of its efforts to equipping future professionals with relevant capital market knowledge and skills. Agama disclosed that the committee is expected to review the NUC curriculum on securities and investment management to include non-interest capital markets, the commodities ecosystem, financial derivatives markets, sustainable finance, and capital market regulations. This is in addition to expanding the introduction to cryptocurrency. And quickly, let's take a look at Nigeria's capital market. For today, the capital market actually opened negatively. Not this, okay? We can see the all-share index declined by 97,651.23 basis points. Top deals 9,053. Volume 536.7 million. Value 10 billion. Equities market, we have it at 59.1 trillion. Well, this is business news. Let's take the last break.
On NTN Network News tonight, thanks for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.